All right, guys, welcome back into another betting podcast video. Going to be going over the RSM Classic here. So, as you guys know, the RSM Classic is kind of a fun one that we had this week. So, really, to me, there's one standout bet, and it's priced like that, Webb Simpson. We'll get into that in a second. So, I do want to do a quick breakdown. This is going to be a more simple approach. It's going to be a faster approach than the normal 9 to 5 betting podcast. It's going to get straight to the point here for you guys, just the top bets, and then we're going to get out of here. So, quick course breakdown. We've seen this course a decent amount, so we know what to expect from it key stat-wise. So what we're looking at is going to be driving accuracy. The fairways are a little bit more difficult to hit, but once you hit the fairways, you're going to set yourself up to hit the green pretty well. And then with that, the greens are easy to hit. That means they're bigger greens, and with the greens being as big as they are, that leaves the putter in the hands of the golfer a little bit more. So we will be looking at total putting as a key stat, and really, for me this week, it goes birdie to bogey ratio and total putting. A little bit of strokes gained approach. Those are the stats that I'm looking at the most here this week, and it really does help us refine who we want to bet outright. So just talking about outright bets here, we'll start with Webb Simpson here. His odds have changed since I did this graphic here on your left-hand side of the screen. So he was 10-1 at the start of the week. Now he is 8.5-1. He is obviously the class of the field here, runner-up here the year before that. Third place the year before that. Webb Simpson, I do expect him to win. If he doesn't win, that's going to be kind of a disappointment. Then someone that's actually been bet down is Sungjae Im. He's now at 22-1 from the time that I made the slide here. He was 16-1 before. I actually like Sungjae Im a decent amount. We've seen his recent form come around. He's a solid stab fit for this course. He's the guy that could contend here as well. But after that, I do worry about someone like Harris English, Russell Henley. There's just a lot of players here where it doesn't exactly make sense for us to push it too much. So don't mind Brian Harmon at 45-1. He's a guy that actually does make a decent amount of sense for me this week. He's a guy that's checking all the boxes. You look at his recent form, been a bunch of top 30 finishes in a row. You look at his course history here as well, a bunch of top 30 finishes here as well. So he's a guy that also is a top 30 stat fit. So Brian Harmon at 45-1, if you're not betting Sungjae Im and if you're not betting Webb Simpson, I think we just go with the longer odds approach. Another one would be Mr. Fall Golf, Sebastian Munoz. I actually like Sebastian Munoz a decent amount this week. So he's a guy that just contends in the fall. That's just what he does. We saw that at the U.S. Open. Kind of choked on Sunday, but overall good tournament for him. He had a third place finish here last year. He's a top 30 stat fit. He makes a ton of sense. Zach Johnson I like for a make cut. I do worry about him winning. Doc Redman has a bunch of hit or miss upside. I don't mind him for outright bet purposes, but Taylor Gooch, so he's a good putter. He's a guy that should play well at this course, and I actually like him at those odds, 7-1. That does make a lot of sense. But let's get into some deeper odds because that's what we really care for. Denny McCarthy was a shocking one to me, 85-1 for Denny McCarthy. He's a guy where he doesn't have any weakness in his game right now, especially for this course, how it's setting up. So a guy where he doesn't have a weakness is in great recent form and has good course history at 85-1. That doesn't really make sense to me. Honestly, he should be up here with these big boys there because he's a guy that's just checking all the boxes. And to get him at 85-1, that's absolutely spectacular. And DFS-wise, PGA DFS-wise, some of you guys might be thinking about fading him in GPPs. Then if you do that, you got to bet him outright. It just makes more sense like that. That's how you kind of control it a little bit more there. Hedge the bet necessarily. And then going a little bit lower, Russell Knox, he's a decent fall golf guy, but don't want to go too crazy with that. James Hahn, though. James Hahn is the best stat fit in the field this week. Now, yes, a lot of that is due to him playing on some easier courses at the start of the year, but the dude had 3 top 10 finishes prior to his made cut at the Houston Open. Now, he didn't have it together that week, but just to write him off because he had one bad week in his last tournament, and yes, he did miss the cut here in his first time out, but still 150-1 for the best stat fit in the field. That's really shocking. That's very appealing to me there at that price point or at that price tag. Then going lower, there are some long shot odds that I don't mind, but really for me it's going to be that 150-1 and up there. I mean, that's just a great price tag for James Hahn there. And then there were some other ones that caught my eye here just for outright purposes. We'll pull that up here real quick as well. Sam Burns was one too, but obviously he's not in the field anymore. Doc Redman I touched on. Munoz I touched on. Brian Harmon I touched on. I think I hit them all of them. So we'll get into my favorite like top 40 bets here. So the reason that I like to do the top 40 bets is because, technically speaking, these should be the bread and butter for you. These ones should be the easy ones to cash in. So, Brian Harmon, if he makes the cut, he's easily going to top 40. And for top 40 bets, I typically like to at least get plus numbers there. So, say we want to put 10 on Brian Harmon to top 10, you're going to get $20 back. You're going to profit 10 there. I like that approach. This is my preferred approach. If you're trying to make a profit in golf betting, this is the way to do it. And then still, freaking Denny McCarthy. I don't get it. Look at that. Solid there for him as well. You could probably go a little bit more aggressive with that. Really don't get those odds for him or Harmon. Those are guys that both set up really well for this course. They both should have a strong week this week at this course. Then we're going to get a little bit lower down. So someone like Matthew Naismith, I would much rather bet them to top 10 because for him, he's more of a guy of, if he doesn't have it going, he's just going to miss the cut. But if he does have it going, he's going to be able to top 10. So we'll pull him up here on the top 10 sheet instead. He's a guy where if you wanted to bet him outright, you can. I mean, he does, have strong course history, strong course ties here as well. So he's a guy that's always kind of played well here. He had one bad start in his last start, but other than that, he was trending in the right direction. He's a guy that does fit, stat fit wise, is a top 25 stat fit. So to get him at 12-1, just the top 10, I actually don't mind that too much. You do the same thing with James Hahn if you didn't want to bet him outright. Those are guys where they're really hit or miss. So if their game is on, they're going to go out and play well and contend, most likely. And I just don't mind that. Now, yes, they are much more risky than some of the other guys up here, and that's kind of why they're priced that way, but still, makes a ton of sense to me. So we'll get back into some of the top 40 bets, and I'll be wrapping it up here, guys. Just don't want it to be taking too long for you. So, like longer shot odds for top 40, you can definitely chase that. John Huh is a guy where 7 out of his last 10 cuts have been made, including the first 2 this season. He's a guy that has been playing some good golf here, and he's made 2 out of 3 cuts here at this course as well. So has good course history, has been playing good golf. I don't know. I like that at those odds, just the top 40. That's a good number for you. Once again, if you bet him just $10, you would win back $22.5. Not bad. And then if we really want to get lower, you can go to someone like Hank Lebioda, DJ Trahan. These are both guys that I think are going to make the cut. And then with the top 40 bet at these low of odds, all you really want them to do is make the cut. And then if they make the cut, they're going to set themselves up well to potentially be able to top 40, because then you're just really, it's a stroke or two here and there, and you're going to be able to make the cut. Another one, Davis Thompson. He's a guy who played here at this course. Last year he was able to make the cut. I think it's his only made cut on tour. He is technically still an amateur, but he is from around this area. He's a guy that actually doesn't set up too bad for this course. A guy that knows the course. I don't mind that much. And just real quickly, let's pull up some, just fun bets here. Some other bets here. Go matchup bets. I'll just go through these here real quick, just for the fun of it. You guys can decide what to do with it. Webb Simpson over Terrell Hatton. We'll go with that. I actually like Russell Henley over Harris English, which kind of pains me to say. Harris English is a guy that is around this area. Apparently, this is his home course, but he hasn't played like it. The dude has missed a ton of cuts here and has only made cut here in the last 4 years. It was only a top 40 finish. Russell Henley has been in a little bit better recent form as well. We know this should be a course that really does set up well for Harris English, though. Let's actually get into some plus bets. I would have loved to have bet Sam Burns there actually in that one. That would have been easy money right there. Wow. So this is safer. Like, you don't know if Denny McCarthy or you don't know if Doc Redman's going to make the cut. You can pretty much assume that Denny McCarthy is going to make the cut. Doc Redman's a guy where he's really hit or miss. So this is something where you bet Denny McCarthy and then you just hedge it with Doc Redman making the cut. You maybe just hedge it that way if you want to do that. Yeah, Brian Harmon or Corey Connors. This is an interesting one because I actually really do like Corey Connors in cash. He's someone that I've gone on later on as the week has went on. But Brian Harmon, a guy that's checking all the boxes, I think it's a stronger likelihood that he does make the cut. But overall, guys, this week, just going back to it, I really do think that this is going to be kind of a similar week to last week, where last week there's like 5 players I really thought could contend for the victory. For me, this week it's really Webb Simpson and maybe Sanjay M. You could see Hatton or English like putting it together, getting the win if they're golfing at their best game. But other than that, it's going to be Munoz. It's going to be Brian Harmon, Doc Bredman, Taylor Gooch. It's going to be some of those guys, or Denny McCarthy. Austin Cook is another one that I didn't mention. So Austin Cook I actually do really like here as well. He is a former winner at this course, guys. 3 straight make cuts here at this course. Top 11 finish, a first place finish. He's actually a really strong staff and some pretty solid recent form. Hasn't played poorly. Yes, he did miss a cut 3 events ago, but other than that, just been stellar recent form, even dating back further than that. He's a guy that I really do like this week. And to get a former winner in good form, that's a good staff at 100-1. That's pretty shocking to me. So Austin Cook is going to be my piece that I leave you guys with this video. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe. I do appreciate that. And as always, guys, let's keep cashing.